Starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really, really, really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday night introduction to Lifewave and X39 call. Thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. I'm your host, Michelle Niels, and we're going to start with a short presentation from Gregory Mascari on the company and the founder and the star of the show, the X39. And following the presentation, one of our practitioners, Dr. Barbara Jennings, will be joining us to share more about the science and how you can best benefit from this amazing technology. And then we will be hearing from people on the call, actual results from some of the listeners tonight. So if you have a testimonial to share, please raise your hand so we can promote you to a panelist and you can share your story. So I'm going to turn it over to Gregory Mascari to do our PowerPoint presentation. Take it away, Gregory.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Michelle. Good evening, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Please hold on just a moment. And here we are to talk about activating your stem cells. This is an exciting topic for all of us. And I'm just going to share first a personal realization I came to a number of years ago. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, and that's younger, because getting old ain't so cool. And, I'm proud to be 71, and I think I'm more like a 39-year-old. So, and thanks to the wonderful technology that we're going to talk to you about here tonight. So welcome to the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate damaged cells in all of our organs, glands, muscles, bones throughout our entire body. But here's the sad news. The problem is, the older we get, the fewer stem cells we have. And by age 60, only a small percentage remain. And consequently, the faster we age and the slower we heal. Now, what about stem cell injections? They become quite popular, but you know what? They're quite expensive too. And they can be painful, risky, controversial. And you know what? There's no guaranteed results. You could spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars and maybe or maybe not get the results you're after. Well, tonight we're here to talk to you about some really good news, because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with a historic breakthrough in stem cell activation technology. It's a wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's non-drug, and it's a patented form of phototherapy that uses specific frequencies of light to activate and improve a particular peptide in our body that activates stem cells. This is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt, who's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher. Dave is a genius inventor, already with over 130 patents and patent pendings, and he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. And David's already conducted over 80 clinical studies, proving the efficacy of our Lifewave phototherapy products. And you know what? Many, many more are in the works. And that's because Lifewave is a 20-year-old advanced technology company focused in the health sciences arena. It was founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology David developed for Navy SEALs to increase their strength, their stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeines. And it turned out to be so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. And we are proudly to have corporate headquarters and laboratory manufacturing in California, Utah, and Ireland, with global distribution over 75 countries from our 15 global distribution centers. Now, the word is starting to get out on Lifewave, and It's so effective. It's used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. And the media has begun to notice, and you know what? You might too, if you look carefully at some of your favorite athletes and you see those auspicious little white patches like you see on number 94 over here. And that's Lifewave. That's our phototherapy technology. So how does this amazing technology work? Let me share. It's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. That's kind of a mouthful, but very simply put, Lifewave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals that when they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, and then they begin to emit very specific and targeted and beneficial frequencies of light that activates beneficial biochemical responses in our body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis of our Lifewave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that frequencies of light can cause specific changes within our body. For example, we all know when we go out in the sun, a specific frequency of light causes our body to manufacture vitamin D. We're not getting a vitamin D download from the sun. Another frequency of light, UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, Lifewave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid, widely recognized scientific principle. Our focus for the last 16 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And in 2019, we released to the global market the Lifewave stem cell activation patch, which truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell technology. Some are calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science because we're actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies in big pharma have not been able to do. And X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide that then begins to activate our stem cells while also altering gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. Now, this really is a game changer, and it's a true breakthrough. And our founder, inventor, and CEO, David Schmidt, says, my greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on yet, because David spends more time in the laboratory than he does in an office. And the good news is, yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies and field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. And I think it's exciting news for everyone that wants to maintain optimal health. So that's my little introduction, Michelle, and I'll turn the rest of this over to you and our special guest doctor.
All right. Thank you so much, Gregory. I want some of that. Give me some of that.
Me too. Me too.
I've been doing it for 4.5 years and I plan to do it the rest of my life. All right. Well, we have the lovely Dr. Barbara Jennings this evening. She's a chiropractor and a functional medicine practitioner in Fort Collins, Colorado, where I live. And she also can work virtually with people all over the world. Dr. Barbara became a chiropractor, decided to become a chiropractor after she was helped by another chiropractor with reversing an autoimmune thyroid condition in 1999. And this so impressed her that she decided she wanted to become a doctor and help others. Dr. Barbara is a detox expert, and she runs a very popular detox healing program several times a year. Originally a classical pianist and piano teacher for 17 years, she has also taught Nia classes. If you don't know what Nia is, it's a fusion of dance, martial arts, and yoga. And that's where I met Dr. Barbara. And she's been doing that since 2001. Yes, Barbara and I have known each other for about 15 years. She's been using the X39 since September of 2019 in her clinical practice and personally, and I'm her lucky sponsor. Yay, Dr. Barbara, welcome.
Hey, Michelle.
How are you?
Doing great.
Good, good. So let's start with when I told you, let's meet for lunch, Barbara, let's sit down and talk. I have something really exciting to share with you. And I gave you a patch and I gave you some information. And what was it that excited you the most and made you decide to want to try the X39?
Well, it was the idea that if it worked, if it really worked, then it was a way for me to help lots of patients with more stem cells because they can work miracles, which we see. But at the time, that's really what made me curious and a little hopeful.
Uh-huh. And also there was like a hubbub about stem cells, right? I mean, were you
Yeah.
familiar with the way maybe functional medicine doctors were using stem cells in their practice?
Yeah, actually, I was getting calls pretty much every week with different people and different companies wanting me to add stem cells to my practice, usually by injection or other devices that actually, can make little injuries in your joints to activate stem cells. So it was something that I was already intrigued with and familiar with, at least the value of stem cells.
Right.
And I wasn't interested in bringing injections into my practice. Yeah.
Right. So what was your first experience, or maybe it was your husband, wasn't it? What was your first like, aha, like this really works? Was it a patient or was it your husband?
No, it was me actually.
Okay.
So my husband, Paul, didn't try them until, a little later. He probably started maybe a week or two after me.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel anything for about 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 5th day, I just felt better. And I wasn't sick and I didn't have pain, but I noticed I felt more energetic. I felt like I had slept better.
Mm-hmm.
And that intangible sense of well-being. I felt that.
Mm.
Mhm.
Amen to that. That's something I also felt. It took a couple months, but that has continued for the 4.5 years. Would you like to share a few stories of maybe your patients or someone in your family or something that comes to mind of maybe some stories from X39?
Well, it's been a life changer for a lot of my patients and for my husband. I've had a few patients with a diagnosis I won't say, but it causes extreme pain with inflamed joints and inflamed muscles around those joints.
Mm-hmm.
And the typical protocol for that from a medical doctor is 2 years of prednisone and painkillers and wait it out for 2 years. And the first two people, excuse me, I had try these patches. They noticed a difference, a decrease in pain, literally in hours, just with X39. And that is nothing short of a miracle for those people.
Amen. And who wants to be on prednisone long term? I mean, that's not
Right.
a good drug.
Right. So we can help the body decrease inflammation and we can accelerate the healing and repair process. And we can do it at the same time with something as easy as these patches. And that's a huge deal.
So tell us a little bit about how it's different, in that it's non-transdermal and that there's no risk and there's no side effect other than just feeling better. Can you just speak something about how this technology is different than, say, traditional ways of dealing with pain?
Right. Well, this isn't even a traditional patch, is it? It's there's no medicine in the patch. Your body is not going to absorb anything from the patch. It is only going to be stimulated by a light frequency. Mm-hmm. So the patch itself, as Gregory kind of covered in his intro, it has reflective crystals and some amino acids and some nanotechnology so that when your body heat, which is a form of infrared light, when that hits the patch, it reflects back into your skin a different frequency. And that is the genius of the inventor, David Schmidt, is he has found specific frequencies that have a biological effect on the human body to activate this GHK copper peptide, which then activates your stem cells. And it's big.
Amazing. I know we call it a miracle, but we have science, right, Dr. Barber? We have a lot of research, right?
Yeah, plenty.
So, what are some tips that you would like to share with those people that are new on how to optimize outcome for using the patch.
Right. So when I'm recommending these to my patient, I always tell them these are going to work better if your body is hydrated. Like everything in your body will work better when you're hydrated.
Mhm.
So you want to be sure and drink enough water, at least half your body weight in ounces. And drinking enough water is only really half the battle with
Half the
hydration.
battle. Mhm.
Right. And you need to supplement minerals because minerals are what allow your cells to be like a sponge and bring in water. So you want to stay hydrated. The other recommendation is that we wear them for 12 hours and then you take it off and have a rest for 12 hours. And that's so that your body gets a break from that light stimulating your skin. Because if that never stops, if you wear them all the time, then your body will begin to adapt to that and it will become less effective. So to keep it full power and full strength and reap the maximum benefits, it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off. With X39, it doesn't really matter if you wear it daytime or nighttime. Some people sleep better at night with it. Some people sleep worse at night with it. So try it and see how it works for you.
Okay. I just noticed a question about what kind of water do you drink? And I would like to talk about water and also minerals, because you talk a lot about minerals, Dr. Barbara. And I know there's a lot of popular electrolyte powders. And then of course, there's magnesium, and there's all these minerals that David has talked about. So when you say make sure you're getting enough minerals, can you just spend a minute and talk about the minerals and then also the importance of good, healthy water, pure water?
Right. So I've done thousands of body composition scans, and I can count on one hand the number of people I've scanned the first time who were not dehydrated. So this scan shows body water percent, hydration. So it's very, very rare, I think, for a person to get enough minerals from their diet without supplementing them. Our food just is not as nutrition filled as it used to be. So some kind of trace mineral, I do definitely have some favorites. They're professional lines that I use in my office. I can, if people want to know, I can
put a note
say it in the chat and I can send you a message. But some kind of trace minerals, they can be things like fulvic and humic acid. It can be macro minerals like from the Great Salt Lake. I recommend using high mineral content salt. Stay away from your regular table salt. You want to use Hawaiian salt or sea salt or Himalayan salt, Celtic salts, something that's going to provide even more minerals that way. And I like to mix those up and use some of each because you're going to get different amounts of different things from different places.
Beautiful.
And the other mineral you need to be sure you have enough of in your body is copper.
Copper.
Because this patch directly affects your body's production of the copper peptide, and you can't make that if you don't have copper. So there's, you can just Google foods high in copper and, make sure those are a regular part of your diet. And if you hate them all, then you can get some supplements.
And I think David says 2.5 milligrams or so in a tablet per day, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So is there anyone who should not use the X39, Dr. Barbara?
Yes. So it's not recommended for people who've had an organ transplant, and that's because this will actually support your immune system. So those people who are suppressing their immune system so as not to reject a new organ, it's not recommended for them. Although I would use it up until the hour of surgery. I would definitely use that. I have a good friend who had a liver transplant, And she used this X39 for about 7 or 8 months before. And she set a record in recovery time and being the first or the earliest person ever discharged after a liver transplant in Denver.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes.
Make a
Yes.
note of that, everyone.
Yeah. And then at her 6-month checkup, the nurses said her scar looked like a 12-month-old scar. I mean, she had recovered so well. So, you know, she was like, oh, great. I'm like, you just spent 7 or 8 months building up your supply of stem cells.
That's right.
So she doesn't use them anymore, but it did help her have a fantastic recovery after that major surgery.
Major surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how long before a new user will notice something, Dr. Barbara? That's something that a lot of people are really anxious about. Like, will I notice right away? Will the pain go away right away? You know, so what would you say to a new user?
Well, I wondered the same thing, right? And when the first time you put one on my neck at lunch, I felt nothing, and I felt nothing the next day. You know, it took me several days. So that's the question of the year, right? Because there is no one answer for that. The real answer is from the patients I had who noticed a decrease in pain on day 1, up until some people I've seen not have a noticeable effect for 3 to 4 months even. That doesn't mean it's not working.
Right.
But the noticeable effect could take that long. It could be quick. It could be longer. The majority of people, I think, do notice some difference in the first 1 or 2 weeks.
As a chiropractor and you're working with nerves, the spinal nerves, and share that statistic about how many nerves are feeling nerves that register pain versus there was some comparison thing you made, why people should not be so hung up on how the physical feeling is. Can you explain that?
Right. Only about 10% of the nerves in the human body are sensory, meaning you're going to feel it or notice it. So 90% of what's going on in your body, at least from your nervous system's direction and cause and effect, is not going to be something you feel. Okay. So there's a whole lot of things these stem cells can go to work on, and you not notice it.
You will not notice, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else you'd like to share before we open up for people sharing? And by the way, if anyone has a testimonial, please click on the raise hand button and Gregory will promote you to a panelist so we can hear your story. So is there any last thing you'd like to share, Dr. Barbara?
Talking about time and how long things can take, let me just share my husband's shoulder testimonial. I know I have shared it before, but for people who are new, I think this is a really helpful thing to hear and understand about how they work. My husband had a shoulder injury. It was a rotator cuff tear of at least 2 tendons. It was a shoulder he dislocated about 13, 14 times. So lots of arthritis in there. And he had surgery to repair it. But this new injury had a new tear, and he couldn't lift his arm. He couldn't curl any weight whatsoever. And just that morning, he had done 85 push-ups, which he does every other day since he was 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So after that injury, he couldn't even hold a plank position. I mean, his shoulder was really damaged. The orthopedic surgeon said, there's so much damage in there. There's so much arthritis. The only thing that I can do for you is a replacement surgery. So live with that as long as you can. Come back when you're ready for a shoulder replacement surgery. Well, he's 55 years old and not ready for a shoulder replacement surgery. So I said, this was when the patches were pretty new to us, right? We'd been using them just a few months. And I said, well, I don't know what it's going to do, but I know it'll help. So let's find out. So I had him wear the X39 and the glutathione to decrease inflammation. And within just a couple of months, he could do a few push-ups, and he could lift weight again, and he could lift his arm all the way up. So he went from being, you know, we can't help you whatsoever, to these things are coming back. He wasn't doing 85 push-ups yet, but he was doing 25.
Oh my gosh.
And so that took about 2.5 months.
Wow.
Then 10 months later, so he kept using them. 10 months later, he woke up on his left side in the morning facing me, which has never happened in our marriage, because for 20 years, he has not been able to sleep on his left shoulder because of the arthritis. It hurt so bad. So 20 years of...
You must have flipped, Dr. Barbara, like, what are you doing? Oh my God.
Like, well,
I've been looking at your back for 22 years.
That is exactly right. I'm like, what are you doing? and he looks at me, he's like, I'm on my left side. Oh my gosh, it doesn't hurt. So after 20 years and 10 months of using X39, that repairing process had been going on, and now he can sleep on either side now.
And the moral of the story is, hang in there, everybody. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit of time, and things are happening below the surface, right? That's beautiful.
Right. It might take some time, but you know, miracles may be happening without feeling it for many months.
Mm-hmm. I Sarah and Marvin, wonderful. I saw your hand or your comment in the chat that you couldn't raise your hand. So Gregory must have seen that. So go ahead, Sarah and Marvin. We'd love to hear from you. You need to unmute.
To speak, and I also want to get the video on, but I know I can't.
You should be able to turn it on.
Yeah, I know, but I can't get to. Anyway, never mind. So we're both here listening. We've been using the patches for 3 years.
There we are.
Okay, I'll try, but it does. Here we are. 80 years old, going on 40. We've been using the patches.
Sarah, we're having a hard time. We're having a hard time hearing you.
Now.
Yeah, try shutting your video off, and we'll
had amazing results, one thing after the other. But I would like to share how. Oh, okay. So let me see.
You know what, Sarah, leave your video off, because the sound is not very good with the video on. So why don't you leave your video off? Yeah, the sound was very garbled. So go ahead and just turn the video off and just share. Just share without the video.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's already stopped your video. Go ahead.
There you go.
There we are. Thank you. You did that for us.
We can hear you.
Can you hear us better now?
Yes.
Okay. So do I start from the beginning or go on?
Yes, we didn't hear it. All I heard was you're 80 years young, going on 40, and then you got garbled.
Okay. So we've been using, thank you. We've been using the patches for 3 years, and we've had many, many miracles happen to us. We're getting younger and younger.
Be specific.
What?
Be specific.
Yes, Marvin. And I just like to share the story, how we started. We had a terrible family tragedy a few years before we came across the patches. And we both, I got terribly depressed, but I didn't recognize it. And I aged about 10 years. And we went to see our old doctor, and she just put on the back of our necks something. She didn't say anything what it was or anything. After half an hour, I suddenly felt normal again. I mean, I just could not believe it. It really was a miracle. Marvin didn't feel anything, but he felt a lot better too. And we started sleeping better, and it was amazing. So that was my story. And I just couldn't stop sharing it after that. Marvin, you want to tell your story about your brother?
My brother is at the time was about 75 years old, and he was born with a heart defect, and he's had 3 open heart surgeries, and the doctors told him the last one that they can't do anything more for him and send him home to die. And I happened to call him one day and ask him how he was doing. He said, "I'm so weak I can't get my papers together." So I said, okay, so I sent him the X39. Took about 3 days. One day after he started using it, I gave him a call. He said, "I don't know what's going on, but I'm out in the garage doing my karate and beating my punching bag."
Oh.
So, I mean, and then after 3 months, he went to his checkup and his doctor said,
Who was surprised that he was still alive.
yes. He said, his doctor told him, he said, "I've never seen anything like this in 30 years of practice. Every organ in your body is regenerating."
Wow.
So that's our story.
Wow. What a great way to start. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Marvin and Sarah. Thank you. That's beautiful. All right. Who else has a testimonial to share?
Looks like Jonathan's up next. Jonathan Beal. Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey guys, let's see. Do I have everything? There we go. There we go. Hi, there we go.
Hi there.
Hi, so I won't take long. I did something it was actually, I wouldn't want to say it was a fluke, but I put, I just happened to decide to put the glutathione on the X39 and put it below my belly button. And I started wearing it like that for about 3 or 4 days. And the intimacy in my life got better. Let me just put it like that. So praise God.
All right.
Not that I had much problem, but it got better.
Hallelujah. That's
Thank you.
great, Jonathan. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Who else has a hand up? Gregory?
I think Kara's next.
All right. Is that Kira?
Yeah, that's Kira. Yeah.
All right. Let's
Come
get
on,
her.
Kira.
She's not promoted yet.
Oh, I thought I did.
I see Jonathan still there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, get rid of me.
Kira, can you accept the invitation to be a panelist? Or you could just talk. There you go. You gotta unmute yourself, honey. Okay.
I
there
think
we
I
go.
hear you, Kira.
Yep.
Sorry?
Yes, go ahead, Kira. We're waiting for you.
Oh, okay. I have a similar story. I have lots of stories. When I was first introduced to the X39, I felt nothing. I still feel nothing. And I've been using the patches, not just the X39, but several of the others since, about 3 years. About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I fell in my house and shattered my humerus. I now have in my arm a plate and 6 screws, 2 brackets, and a very light scar. Bottom line for that story is after my first post-op, which was, I fell in February, early February. My first post-op was in April, and I could already raise my hand, I don't know if you can see this, above my head. And the doctor was flabbergasted. And then at my second post-op, which was about month 4, I could already do 95% of everything he wanted. I could put my hand behind my back. I put the top of my head.
I have to write this down.
And he said, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it." And he released me. after just, from February 4th to, I think it was June 20th. So it was a testimony to the effectiveness of my stem cells being activated. And at that time, I think I was 72, 71 or 72. And I am now very active, even more active than I was then. I hike a lot, and I just travel a lot, and I have no trouble whatsoever with my shoulder.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kira. Yay.
Thank you for letting
That
me.
is so wonderful. I'd like to ask, Dr. Barbara, we hear so many stories of people having accelerated healing, and this is wonderful. This is bone healing. That's a tough one. And ironically, my wife's going through a broken humerus right now, as many of you know. And her healing she's doing really well. The PTs are really impressed with the progress she's making. Why is that happening?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I'm asking Dr. Barbara. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Because everything starts from a stem cell, including bones. So the copper peptide is required to make collagen. And guess what bones are mostly made of? They're not mostly made of calcium. They're mostly made of collagen. And so if you can increase the amount of collagen in your body with X39 and also activate your stem cells and increase the amount of stem cells, then you can speed up the repair of a fracture. Happened to me. I broke my ankle last year, and it healed in less than 6 weeks. With any fracture, they're going to tell you 6 weeks. But my ankle healed in less than 6 weeks, and on my follow-up X-ray, it healed so well in such an organized way that you cannot even see where the fracture was.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that's very unusual, because usually you can see a scar on the bone where it was fractured and healed.
Well, I know Robin's hoping to duplicate that process.
Yes.
Do we have other hands up for
Yeah, we do.
Sharon?
Rowena, you're next. If you could unmute yourself, please. There you go.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I will.
Oops. No, she's going to be back in. We're still perfecting this technology.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay, so this past weekend I met a couple, and the man is quite sick with a disease in which some of the body's cells grow uncontrollably and spread to other parts of the body. He was in a lot of pain and couldn't stand up straight. So I patched him with Lifewave and Eon, and within 30 seconds his countenance changed and he could sit up and stand up straight.
So I used keep that.
A game changer for him. His wife was amazed and said, "This is not the man I came here with." And so yesterday he started using X39 and he had a good day. So they are so glad that they met me on Saturday, and I'm just looking forward to hearing more from them.
Oh, Rowena, you're an angel to them.
I feel like
That's a great story. Thank you. Beautiful.
Okay, and Kurt Collier, you're next. If you want to unmute yourself.
Okay, there I go.
Yeah, here you are.
I'm brand new at doing this on my iPhone as opposed to the computer.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of still struggling a little bit as my first time here. But anyhow, I've been familiar with Lifewave for a few years. I see a holistic doctor, chiropractor in Pasadena, California. And every time I would take patches in to have her test me, she would say, no, your body doesn't want these right now. And so 4 months ago, I tore my Achilles tendon 50% through, tore another tendon in my ankle. And after 4 months, it wasn't healing. And my wonderful, incredible sponsor, Tina Thornton, has been after me to, well, try the X39 again. After 4 months of no progress and ready to go into surgery, I put the X39 on, and oh my goodness, in like 4 days, I started seeing major improvements. So I was involved in network marketing many moons ago. I'm 71. And last time I did one was about 30 years ago. And every time a new product or new opportunity shows up, I get phone calls from people all over saying, oh, Kurt, you'd be perfect at this. Since I had built some pretty big organizations in the past, I've never been motivated to jump on board as a distributor until now. And so I just, signed up with a gold package with Lavelle and Tina, and I am pre-selling people right now while I put together my marketing package. And I am very enthused that I can now provide my own testimonial that in 4 days, I got so much better after 4 months of no results.
So you can't not share, right, Kurt?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just want to stand on the rooftops and shout it out.
Right. That's great. Thank you. Beautiful.
And I saw my doctor of osteopathy today and shared with him. And so he's going to be one of the first people that wants my package of information as I'm putting it together. So yeah,
Beautiful.
this is just exciting.
Welcome. Welcome to our Lifewave Live Younger family. All right, Kurt.
Yes, thank you. And I just think the world of Lavelle.
Oh, so do we. Lavelle.
Thanks, Kurt.
Speak of the angel. There he is.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Hey, Dr. Barbara, how are you? Hey, Michelle. Hey,
Hi.
everybody.
Hey, Lavelle.
Hey, guys. So we're just excited. More and more people are just coming on board and getting all these different results. But I want to expand a little bit on Jonathan Bill. Jonathan's one of our directors. And Jonathan, he calls me and he said, well, I can't believe this. I'm 61 and I'm playing basketball again. And he said, usually I would be tired, but he said, every weekend I'm going out playing with these guys that are 10, 20, 30 years my junior, and they can't keep up with me. He's saying, the more that I work out, the more energy I'm getting every week. He said, this 18-year-old could not even guard me this past Sunday. He said, so guys, I just want to encourage everybody, go and work out and see what it does for you. That's what Jonathan's been telling me, in addition to his romantic experience. But
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Gregory, I think I want to just comment on the fact that there's a lot of questions in the Q&A, and just to remind people that the Tuesday evening call is it's the format has changed, and we're sharing testimonials and not questions. But the questions are appropriate for Connie Lucas's Sunday evening call. Is that okay to say, Gregory?
Yeah, and they're also appropriate for our new Live Younger product patch chat. So if you're part of our Live Younger Facebook group, we have a patch chat where people are interacting with each other and sharing protocols and stories and suggestions and ideas.
Beautiful. Yes. And how do people get to that, Gregory?
Yeah, if there's one or two on there you want to highlight, I think we're about ready to bring this to a close, and we'll ask Dr. Barber for any closing thoughts or comments. But if there's one or two you want to address, that would be okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh boy, that's hard. There's a bunch on here. Okay, well, I'll go with someone who asked at the beginning. I have a brand partner with pain down the leg. Please tell how you have helped a patient with this kind of pain, and how did you patch them?
That That's usually a two patch thing. Number one, you just put X39. I would put it on the lower back or sacrum. And then you want to use Ice Wave. And the placement for Ice Wave is going to differ with different people, but I would try the brown one on the lower lumbar spine and the white one either down like in the middle of the whatever, if it's on the left side buttock, or below on the back of the thigh. So I would try that, or you could also try brown and white on either side of your SI joints, if you know where those are. And if that doesn't work, flip them brown, white, or white, brown, try those both ways. But usually one of those is going to work.
Okay. Is there a protocol for autoimmune issues with the liver?
Any autoimmune condition, you have to decrease inflammation. So I like to address that from two different ways with these patches. The glutathione patch and the EON patch work in very different ways to decrease inflammation. So I would use both of those and X39. Then with autoimmune conditions, you have to change your diet and you have to find the infection that's in there and get rid of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Well, we are about 45 minutes after the hour, so we're going to wrap this up and bring it in for a landing. Thank you so much. We have 182, I think that's what I'm reading, or is it 162? Okay. 162. Okay. 162 people on this call. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Barbara Jennings. We're so happy you're part of our community. And yes, so Gregory did put something in the chat about how to ask some questions in our Live Younger Facebook group. There's a chat feature there, and you can get some of your questions answered. So thank you all for being here, and keep on patching, everybody. And oh, for those of you who are new, you were invited as a guest, get back to the person who invited you to this call and find out how you can also participate in this stem cell revolution and turn back the hands of time and turn back your biological clock. So thank you all for sharing, and good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.